Assalamu alaikum. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant. Welcome, sisters and brothers. Critical analytics. Today we're going to discuss the wisdom. Because it all boils down to you personally when you really think about it. See, we are one people, we're one body. But each individual within that body has to be healthy, or it corrupts the rest of the body. So your principal mission is to make yourself healthy. Invest in yourself. By doing so, and everyone doing that, the whole body remains healthy. So when you study the 5 fundamental pillars of Islam, or the 5 fundamental principles of Islam, however you can call it, that's what it's really getting down to. You have to invest in yourself. See? And by doing so, when you understand that you're part of the body, you're part of one body, then you're helping the body, because if you neglect yourself, then you become a cancerous cell that destroys the whole body. So when it boils down to it, the wisdom is to be yourself, but to invest in yourself 100%. And that means your total self, because you personally only 180%, 180 degrees of yourself. The male and female consist of 360 degrees. The male is 180 degrees and the female is 180 degrees. And so when you invest in your female or your male what's the word I want to use? What's the word? It's a good word for that. Well, the other half, we'll leave it there, right? There's a good word for it, but I can't think of it right now. When you invest, then you invest in yourself, because you only want 180 degrees of self. We originally were one being, and we divided into 2, but we're still one being. It's just in 2 different bodies. And you comprise 180 degrees, right? See? And the other half comprises 180 degrees together at 360 degrees. You understand that? Because if you're male, the female, right, is half of your nature. If you're male, the female, the male's half of your nature. You're nothing by yourself. This will teach you that nonsense, but no. Understand that. So we're going to talk about that. See? And how it affects other things. So, here, who will win the Wolf Armageddon? First, we're going to talk a little about vision here. So you got 2 visions there, right? You got the biological world. That's the world we created. See? And you got this mechanical world that Antichrist is trying to bring in, because he's at odds with this creation, right? So he knows this creation is against him. He only has 6,000 year window where he can survive within this creation. Now this creation is turned against him, and he can only survive it by destroying it and bringing in a mechanical, electronic creation. And so he's constantly he's building your consciousness towards it. All these movies and everything, getting more and more, right? Androids and Terminator and, robots, right? And they perfect it. They get closer and closer to it. I mean, they had a show where they should have got robots dancing and carrying on, getting closer and closer to it. They trying to figure out how to marry, right, the brain to the mechanical body. And once they achieve that, then they don't need this biological creation anymore. I mean, they're manufacturing meat and food. They're not growing it anymore. They're manufacturing it chemically. They're telling you they want to get rid of old creation because they cannot survive in it. It's tearing them apart. See? Those two visions. And we don't want to be stupid and foolish to be investing in that vision, because that vision, we have no place, we have no part in that vision. We have no part in that vision, they tell you, because most of us are helping to promote that vision. Because look at what's going on right now. They tell, oh, we got climate change, right? We got, what's all the stuff they talking about, all the different things that, has to do with the climate, and they tell you all these things that happen, right? And the weather's going crazy, and they say, yeah, all this they identify because it's obvious anybody see it, but they're not doing anything about it. They say it's up to a vote. Well, if your house was on fire, would you put up a vote to have when you're going to get out of the house or not? It's bullshit. They're buying time because they got to acknowledge that it exists. They see something going on out here, right? See? You see climate and everything is, environment and everything is going haywire. So they got to acknowledge it. Or people say, well, they call them out on it. But yeah, okay, but we got to vote for it. And nobody not cooperating. Oh, mom and dad's in the house on fire, and we got to decide vote we gonna go get them or not. What? And the kids, some of them say yes, some say no. And the house on fire. You go. If that was the case, then you would go out there and do something about it. They ain't doing anything about it. They're buying time. They always talking about nuclear war. They never talked about nuclear war. They're talking about it now. You better think about it, brothers and sisters. So we're going to touch on that too. There's two visions. See? So this is the vision, right? It's make all things new. That means we're renewing the creation. If you understand the angel clearly, Bible, it says it's not really, we're renewing the creation, rejuvenating it. See? Because we're still going to have a biological creation. It's going to be better than it was before. But we have to rejuvenate it because it's been under attack for the last 6,000 years. See? And there, see? But that one over there on the left there, right? He wants to destroy all this here and bring in that. See? With all these big cities. We won't have big cities like that in the hereafter because they're dangerous. The Bible speaks against it. Big cities and all that kind of stuff. It's dangerous. I'll talk about that one day, right? The water you're drinking is not good water. It's dangerous water. It's not water purified by the sun. Water purified by the sun removes all chemical stuff because it's the sun draws it up, and in the process of drawing it up, and everything is perfect. Because the height that it draws up to get to the cloud, by the time you get there, all the chemicals and things that's in it, right, will have fallen away because it won't survive that journey. See? So in the water, when it gets to the clouds, it's pure. When it comes down, it's pure water. But that's not the water you're drinking. The water you're drinking is once removed from the toilet. It's once removed from the toilet. Because all this here, if you saw that process, right? Some of you, I don't know. I used to, when I was growing up, we went to this 14th Avenue School in Newark, and it was right across the street was a reservoir. You could see the reservoir from my school window. And this reservoir, all the sewage and everything from the toilets and everything, it goes in there. See? And then they treat it with chemicals. See? And by treating it with chemicals, they try to remove as much And they go through the process, of steaming, all kind of stuff, right? To try to get all that manure and everything that was in it out as much as they can. That's the key word. As much as they can, because it's not 100%. It also depends on the volume, how many people using it, right? How big the city is, right? And all kinds of other factors. So, and this is a ongoing process. So they got to keep this going because you got garbage in, and then now all this stuff come in, and then they got to come out with water. You got to have water to drink. And so if it's the great demand, right, then the purification process is going to be less. See, the percentage of impurities is going to get higher and higher and higher. See, so they have a tolerance. Think about that tolerance. But how much feces we're going to allow to be in there. That's what it comes down to. See, and that's what you have to have when you have big cities. You have to have that kind of process. See, so it's not even the bottled water. There's no spring that produces that kind of water. It's all the same thing. It just makes it taste it better. But the point is, they can't remove all the chemicals. Look at all the stuff that people pour in there. They put all kinds of acid and everything in there, drugs and everything in there. They can't remove all that stuff. They don't test for all of it. They can't. It'd be impossible because they have to be tested for millions of chemicals. Because you got millions of people pouring stuff in there. And if just forget about people using it, and they got cancer and carrying on. They're using the bathroom. They got cancer stuff. That's going back in there. See, you don't know it. You haven't heard it like this. So that water is dangerous to drink. And boiling it is not going to help that much. See? So we won't have that. We won't have toilet paper either. That's something that's invented by them because they didn't take baths. Back in the dark age, they didn't take baths. They thought it was bad to take baths. Some of you might remember that commercial about 7-day deodorant. Who in the hell can take 7-day deodorant unless somebody's not taking a bath for 7 days? Why would you need deodorant to last 7 days? Because how do they make toilet paper? They make it from trees. They may say, I cut trees down, but trees, they kill the rainforest. But that rainforest are the lungs of the earth. So that means the air quality is diminishing. You're not getting air like we got it 50,000 years ago. But you get used to it. And remember I said, when energy comes, it comes as momentous in heaven and earth, but coming but of a sudden. That means the energy is coming back, but the earth converts into a form we can use. And that's part of it is oxygen. So the oxygen we get, this oxygen level is lower than what normally get. So therefore, you need oxygen to be in oxygen will energize you. So if your oxygen levels diminish, that means you're not going to be energized that much. You're going to be tired and weaker just from that. Even though you get more energy, but you won't get it in the form of oxygen, and oxygen will keep you mobile. So you might get it in more food, so now you eat more food, right? But you have less energy. You see? Now food will convert energy, but that's more inefficient because the air oxygen you eat, when you take oxygen, it's directly to the muscles, bam, right? See, bam. But if you eat it, right, it's got to go through a process to get there, so it's slower to get there. I'm not going into a lot of detail about that. I'm just saying this stuff is dangerous. And it's causing a lot of problems, but they can't speak to that because how are they going to speak to it? They're going to get rid of the cities, these big cities. The Quran talked about there would be big cities, and they wouldn't talk about that, but there was big cities way back then. See? So I'll leave it there on that one. As far as toilet paper, right? I mean, in the hereafter, you don't be eating 3 and 5, 6, 10 meals a day. That means you won't be using eliminate waste 5, 6, 7 times a day. See, because in hereafter, normally that's what we used to do, right? If we had to just eliminate solid waste, we took a shower. Toilet paper. Just imagine. I mean, you go and then you come back to bed with your with your love of your life, and you may not realize it, but they can smell that. I don't care how good a wiping job you did. You see. And even when you come in You go. I mean, you know, I'm not going to people's hygiene and stuff. I'm just telling you, it's there. Even when you sleep at night, right? When you go in the, when you go to the bathroom, right? If you go, it's not a bad idea to just take a toothbrush and blue toothpaste, hit your tooth, because you go back and you bring out. Oh, you can't smell, but they do. I mean, why you want to bring that to the bed? I mean, that will make things better. I mean, maybe some people might get off on that. I don't know. But the assessments tell us that their hygiene is terrible. They bring animals in the house, right? See, they take and I just said hygiene about you getting rid of solid waste, you know, and so we can go on and on about that, but that's not our way. But we've been taught their way, and that's why Suleiman's called Ancient of Days, because he's going to take us back to our way, which is the proper way, the best way, the healthy way, because there was no disease in the world 50,000 years ago. There was no disease in the world 50,000 years ago. And the scripture tell you that Adam and Eve brought disease into the world. There was no disease before 50,000 years ago. None, zero. No cancer, any of that stuff. The Bible called cancer wasting disease. Let's move on, brothers and sisters, now. Okay. So what you have right here is, right? There's the two divisions again. See, you see this vision on the right slowly coming to view, and the one on the left slowly disappearing. See, you haven't noticed it because it's like putting a frog into the front and into the cool water. And he's there, he's happy, and then but you turn up, he's slowly. Next they know he's toast, he don't realize it because it happens so slow. This one on the left is slowly disappearing. See? And the one on the right is slowly coming into view. Before you know it, to be there. And then that's the kind of body you're going to have to survive. Because that biological body will not be able to survive in a radiated world recovering from nuclear war and all the diseases and everything that's in the world altogether. Have you been paying attention to the news? Is anybody in America healthy? What you call the news? I got ABC, I got 235, I got AB123, I got JFY, I got all, I mean, they don't have those commercials. Millions of people got that problem. And every time you look on TV, I don't care what show you do, every 5 minutes they come to commercial. I got NYZ, I got OAG. I said, damn, is anybody else in this country? That's telling you something. They don't make those drugs unless they have millions because they got to sell them. And they would advertise, of course, a lot of money advertised for those things. So that means there's a lot of people in need of those things. So is anybody in this country healthy? You gotta stop watching NFL and NBA. I mean, if you're a demon, you just keep watching them and start paying attention. That one on the right is slowly coming into view. That cell phone you love so much, you know how much is polluting the planet. You have no idea how much pollution that causes, plus the cancer stuff that you get from it. That's slowly coming into view. And once they get there and they produce their body, you know, it's going to be a Lamborghini body. So it costs you about $10 million to get into it. You got $10 million? So it means you're going to be this biological in that world, and you're going to be in the same situation in their world as they in our world. Because this world's destroying them like what's going on right now. They can't, you know, these shots, booster shots, and everything, because this world destroying them. Now we're over there, and that world will be destroying us because we cannot live biologically in that world, radiated world with no food, because they're already manufacturing food. They ain't growing it anymore. They chemically manufacture meat and vegetables. And you'll be over there in your biological body, and you will not be able to survive. Just like they're starting to. They can't survive in our biological world. You better start paying attention, brothers and sisters. No, your God is on the scene, and high priest is here to warn you. But some of you is going to get, rolled up. You know, as I said, my people are lost for lack of knowledge. So let me give you a little scenario here, a little course on energy deprivation. Now, somebody want to take time and write this down. I'm going to try to go slowly through it, not being condescending, right? So I'm going to give you an example here. Okay, say for instance you need 1,000 units of energy every day. That's how much you need to maintain yourself. We're going to keep it just that. We're not going to talk about civilization, that kind of stuff. Just 1,000 units to maintain yourself, right? And to go out and work your farm. So put it another way. Okay, say for instance, you got an acre of land, maybe, well, you got 100 acres of land, so you got 100 acres of land. And it can produce, right, your acres of land can produce, okay, you got 100 acres of land. Each acre can produce $1,000, right? You got 100 acres. Each acre can produce $1,000 worth of food, right? So if you got 100, that's $100,000. So in a year, right, you produce $100,000 worth of food. Okay? So what you need is, now it can produce that, right? And you need, let's go slowly with this, right? You got 100 acres. Each acre can produce $1,000 worth of food, right? But you need, right, $100,000 worth of energy to produce that food. That's how much you need to make all the acres produce everything it needs. So you need 100,000 units of energy, right, to make that 100 acres produce $1,000 worth of food a year. So that'd be $100,000. 100 acres, 1,000, that's $100,000. Say it again. You got 100 acres. Each acre produces $1,000 worth of food, right? Right. So that means, but you need 100,000 units of energy, right, to work that farm to make it produce that. Okay. So that's how much energy you have. So you're good. Then you go into period of energy deprivation, where you only have 75,000 units of energy. That's all you got, 75,000 units of energy. So if you only got 75,000 units of energy, that means you can only make that land produce $75,000 worth of food. Okay? So you say, because you ain't got enough energy to go out and work it to give the full amount of work. So you say you only got 50,000 units of energy. Then you only can, the farm's only produce half as much as it was producing before. It has the ability, but you don't have the energy to do it. You're just tired. You just don't have the energy to do it. So you suffer energy deprivation. You just don't have the energy to go out and do it. Okay? So this situation's getting worse. Now you're down 25,000. Now, oh man. See? Then you're down 10,000. Then you're almost starving. You only need to make $10,000 worth of, before you make $100,000 a year, now you make $10,000 a year and you got a family and everything, man. And you're tired. You can't go out and do the work. See? That's what energy deprivation is like. So you can look at this from two angles. See? In this one case, you're just getting tired. Oh, man, I'm just getting tired. Oh, what's wrong with Dad, man? What's wrong with Abu, man? He's just tired. He ain't want to work. Was he got a disease or something? I don't know. He's just tired. So you can't see the energy. You can't see the cause. Or you're just tired. Right. So now you're down to the point where you only, right, producing $10,000 worth of food a year. You're down that much from 100,000. You're down to 10% of what you maximum production. Now, do I need to say this all over again? Because I want you to understand this. You got 100 acres of land. Each acre can produce 1,000 units of food, $1,000 worth of food every year. 100 acres, each acre produces 1,000. That's how it's capable of producing $1,000 worth of food every year. That's $100,000 altogether. 100 times 1,000, $100,000, right? But you require 100,000 units of energy, right, to cause that to happen. But if you get down to 50,000 units of energy, you're only going to produce half as much, because each acre is only going to produce not $1,000, but $500, because you don't have the energy to make it produce all it needs to produce. Okay, so now that's energy deprivation. So you look at the end result. The end result is now he's only producing $10,000 worth of food a year, and that's when he's in trouble, because his family can barely live off of that. $10,000 worth of food every year. See? Down from $100,000. 10% of what it normally does. So, the end result is only 10. Now, what if you could produce 100,000? What if you had enough energy to produce $100,000 worth in the farm? But you got a thief, right, that comes and steals 90% of everything you produce. So you working hard, and you putting all the energy, and you working the farm, and you doing everything, and the farm is producing everything supposed you producing the maximum $100,000. But a thief like locust, locust plague, it come in and it's stealing 90%, $90,000 worth of your food every year. The result is the same. So now you got energy, but now you got a thief. You see? And that's Dr. Yaqub. That's the wisdom of Dr. Yaqub, because that calls personification. So you personified the problem, because before you couldn't see. All you knew, you was just tired. But now you can see the villain. You can see the locust plague. But before you couldn't see it. Now you can see it. That's the difference. The end result is still the same. You're working your heart out, but you got a thief that's taking, so the end result is the same. End result is the same. Only difference is now you personified the issue, the problem. So while we may allow Dr. Yaqub do it, so we could see the enemy, so we could see him. Now, what advantages does it have? What advantages, if you can see something, you can avoid it. You had a possibility of avoiding it. If it's a locust plague, right? Well, it's hard to avoid that, right? I mean, you might be able to do some things, but the point is you can see it, so you can figure out that if you can somehow you can deal with that. But the other thing is, that if the energy deprivation situation starts increasing, in other words, right, your energy level is going down, right? So you went from 100 to 75 to 50, but then what if you start going back up again? Where you start going back up again? See, because the net effect here is, right, it's still a net effect. You say, well, yeah, but how is he getting 100,000? Well, yeah, but he's got this negative, remember, so it still balances. Because now he still can have 100,000, right? But now he's got a negative 90. So the energy deprivation problem is still down to 10%. I'm trying to show you the mathematics, this advanced mathematics. So what's happening is that, okay, say it go back up again. So now, right, that means that if the net result, you got to look at the net result in this case. The net result is he's losing 90%. So what if the situation, he only loses 80% now? See, that means the thief is less effective. See, so let's jump back up. See, right? He's not losing anything. He's doing 100,000, and he gives 100,000. That means the thief has no power anymore. So you can see him, you can grab the thief. He comes in, you got him. He has no power anymore. He can't sneak away. He has no power. Because remember, his power is he could take and reduce what you did, your labor. So now you can see him. And you can stop him. He has no power. He lost his power. See? So say the level goes up to, now instead of having 100,000 unit energy, right, now you got 110. You see? So the net effect is, right, is that you produce and plus you got 10 left over. So in other words, you get $100,000 worth of food, plus you got $10,000 to say put in the bank. So what does that happen to Mr. Thief on the right here? When he turns into a negative against himself, so it means now you have 10% over him. You have 10% control over him. You got 10% control over him now because you went up 10% above the 100% which you had before. You get 100. You're not suffering any deprivation anymore. So you put 100 in, you get 100 out. See, before you was putting 100 in, you was only getting 10 out. See, because Mr. Thief on the right here, he was taking 90%. See, that was enslavement. See, we call them a thief. Enslavement because the slave, they were stealing from us. They were still not. They enslaved us. They still doing it now. They still stealing energy and everything else. So now you get to the point where you produce 100, you get 100. Then he has no power. But now you produce 100 and you get 110. You get more. So that means he's now producing for you. He's your slave up to 10%. That's what it means by they're going into captivity. Because it says, you has done, so should be done to you. They're going to become our slaves. And they're going to produce for us. And they won't be able to do a damn thing about it. Just like we wasn't able to do anything about it when it has energy deprivation. But now we're not sub energy deprivation anymore, and we are positive. So if it goes up to 120, they become 20% slaves. It goes 150 to 50% slaves. I mean, 50% of their energy goes to us. And nothing they can do about it. So I hope that's clear enough, brothers and sisters. I'm trying to get you understand what scriptures say, what they mean. Like I tell you, you say, well, how can 10 chase 1,000? I'm trying to give you mathematics. I told you these books are mathematical books. So a thief becomes the servant. He becomes a slave. The former slave master now becomes a slave. Because right now, our energy deprivation, see, right now, this should be happening now. Only reason not happening, because they've tricked you to have self-imposed energy deprivation. Because they got you going after all of their little trinkets and stuff, instead of investing in yourself. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. See? So you're going after all this garbage, these little trinkets. Remember how they got the Native Americans giving trinkets? And they give you trinkets. Oh, you have to have this BMW. You got to have this $1 million mortgage and everything. And so now you suffer energy deprivation, right? So therefore, and they're still controlling you. But if you stop doing that, you find out the economy will fail and you'll be controlling them. See? Because you are the gold and silver and you just don't realize it. And they don't realize it. They ain't going to tell you. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. See, we're in the furnace there. Why are we in the furnace? Because we're going after. See, they're gold and silver. They're metallic gold and silver. We suffer energy deprivation because that's what we're doing. See. So we are all in the furnace. That's why it says Daniel was but Daniel was in the furnace, but he wasn't being burnt in the furnace. See, he wasn't being burnt. But many of you are. Because we're all in the furnace here. But he wasn't burnt in the furnace because he understood the 5 fundamental principles of Islam, right? Understand how energy deprivation works. He was in the furnace. We was all in the furnace together. That's why it said, Ancient of Days, he shows, right? He says, his throne said fire flames come out. You think it's some kind of a ship or something? No. It's that you understand Daniel. He was still in the furnace. This happened while we were still in the furnace of America. That's why I said flames came out from his throne, right? Because we're still in the furnace in America when the Ancient of Days sets. So going after that, right, is what's happening. It's burning you up. Chasing after that. Okay, so we're going to try to go through this briefly. Consequence. See? Now, consequence, that's the first. Everything has a consequence. That's the first. That's the most fundamental principle. See? That deals with your mind. See? And so, what they did was, because energy deprivation, remember I said we got this personification, Yaku's creation, see? So these things don't happen invisibly. It happens, it's visible. We make it visible. That's why we let Dr. Yakub do his thing, because we made our energy deprivation problem invisible. Because that's when you look around here, when you look around and you see KV, and you hang around with them, you hang around with your problem. Because that's why it says, what the crowd says, I'll give you a devil to hang with you as a companion. That's what I will give you a devil as a companion. See, that's what's going on. See, so the thing is that in this case, remember in the case of the farm, he was stealing your farm goods. In this case here, right, he's stealing your mind. How's he stealing your mind? Religion. See? Because he's telling you no such thing as consequence. That's a big ass lie. There's no sense of consequence. All you gotta do is believe in Jesus. No sense of no consequence. Do you want? Just believe in Jesus. See? So therefore you do all stupid stuff, thinking that you're not gonna pay a price for it, and you're paying for it dearly. Because now you're confused. See? Now you're confused. See? And what's the cure? The cure is the INJIL. The INJIL is supposed to get your mind straight. See? And if you don't accept the INJIL, you can run around talking about you got the Quran and you got the sealed Bible. Okay, you can hold on to that. See? Because, fire has different degrees, right? Well, hot water, put it like that, right? 212 is boiling, but 210, right? Don't burn your ass. 212 will boil. So the thing is that you need the protection to the level of the heat. So you may have something, but you better have enough protection to cover boiling. Oh, Quran will cover you at some level, but it will not solve the time of unprecedented trouble. It's not the book for that. It will not get you through it. So you hold on to it. Master black man will not get you through it. The sealed Bible will not get you through it. That's why it says you have to be in the Lamb's book of life. It's the INJIL. That's the book for this time, right? And that's the only book that's going to get you mentally through this period. That's the only book that's going to do it. See? So that's the solution. See? Without it, you're confused. You're disorientated. See? Who's doing it? See? And you're doing it to yourself because he's giving you, because what's happening is he got you going because you don't know the INJIL, right? So therefore you subject to this. And this gives him power over other things because his whole purpose is to make you suffer self-deprivation to the point long enough for them to bring in their vision because they're very close to it. See? So people walk around confused, thinking those consequences, thinking they're going to get their reward after they're dead, so they can fleece for their energy now. No, don't take your money, invest it in the American dream. See, invest it in Jesus, and you're going to get your dividends after you die. And they believe that because they believe in religion, and religion tells them that. That's the sealed Bible. The angel is a solution for that. See, it's a mental gym. So, and we'll talk about more in another system, but right now I just want to go to it generally. Then the second pillar. See, because the first one, like I said, is consequence. Every action has opposite equal reaction. You have equal sign. What's on one side, equal sign has to be on the other. You reap what you sow. Karma. All those are actual. See, only Christianity is the only one that tells you don't have no consequence. Well, some of them do too. You got to just pray this God, pray that God. No, I don't care. You can pray that whatever you want to pray to, right? Everything has a consequence. Everything. You say, "Oh, God taught mercy." You don't understand what He mean by mercy. It's just time. It's like, for instance, I don't want to go into a lot of details here. I want to move on with this, but the mercy is all the mercy is that you do something negative, say worth $1,000, right? So you got a negative consequence, and that negative consequence would be a tumor, right? To the degree of $1,000, you don't even know it's there. You're cultivating a tumor, and you keep on doing it. The tumor gets bigger and bigger and bigger. See. And then you say, "Oh man, I think I'm gonna stop doing this stuff, man. That's wrong, right? I think I'm gonna start doing a better life. I'm gonna start getting people back and everything else." And then the tumor starts going away. You never even knew you had it. That was the mercy. It's just the time before became fatal. No mercy is that you go out there and steal something, then you run into you just run down the stairs and break your neck. Immediate. Then there was no mercy because you didn't have time to correct it. And you saw the immediate result of what your actions were. That's the difference. See? Okay. That's why it tells you repent and change your actions. That's a condition of mercy. Okay. Torque. Torque is a spinning force. See? Anything that spins produces torque. Right? And you have a circulatory system. It spins. The circulatory spins. Goes round, round, circles. It's always circulation. That's why I call it circulatory. It circulates. Circulates means it's spinning as it's going around in a circle. That's what spinning is. And reduce torque. That deals with your heart. Remember, the first one dealt with your mind. That deals with your heart. See? So your heart, right? So what you do, now that's where the Quran comes in, because that's the purpose of the Quran for our time, is to recite. Because it's God's words and He has the firmness of heart. So by reciting it, right, you inculcate the firmness of His heart into your heart, because the voice and the heart are connected. I'm going to leave it there because I already got the explanation in detail. But I'm just talking from a different point of view here. Okay. So what happens? The more you recite, the firmer your heart becomes. If you're not doing that, right, that means your heart is fluctuating. It's not firm, right? See? And remember Mr. Cavey over there, Mr. Thief, right? So he puts fear in it. See, first he gave you confusion with your mind, but now he put fear in there. Because that's what an unstable heart is. It's fearful. It's nervous. It's emotional. It's fearful. Fear is the great disease of it, right? So then you got all kinds of fear in here. See? And so you want to deal with that fear. See? The only way you can deal with it is slight. It's the only way you can do it. See? But this is what he gives you. Alcohol, drugs. See? So you turn to those things. See? Try and deal with it. See? It's like religion, right? Okay, you told I'm gonna rely on Jesus. Because you're confused and everything else. You don't know what to do. So I'm going to rely on Jesus. I'm going to rely on some mystery God. See, something you can't see, nothing doesn't exist, but because you're confused. See? So you're suffering confusion, so now that's what you're doing. And the angel solves that problem because it takes all the invisible stuff and makes it all visible, makes everything clear. It puts you right back on the mathematical standard. But as long as you're on the religious standard, right, they got you in a belief matrix. See? And that's where they want you. See, because nowadays it's self-imposed. Because they got you going after those trinkets and things, so you don't have enough energy, right, to take. And remember I said, you have to invest in yourself. So in that case, you got to study. You got to invest in yourself. And you ain't studying angel. You probably ain't studying anything. Because they got you invested in the American dream. So you don't have enough energy, right, to even cite, even if you knew about it, you don't have enough energy to do it if you can't pursue both. Like I said, no man can serve two gods. He'll love one and hate the other. See? So now you're all confused and everything. You're going to see a psychiatrist and all that kind of stuff, right? You run to the priest, you run to the preacher. Tell me what to do, tell me what to do. I'm so confused. See, or just rely on Jesus. You know how it goes. So in this case here, right? Oh man, I'm nervous. I got bipolar, right? See, I'm paranoid. I'm hearing voices. I'm also anxious. Okay, here's a drug. See, here's my alcohol. See. Because you refuse to invest in yourself, because you invest in the American dream, so you don't have enough energy, because you have enough energy to do these things now. Because once you do these things, they have no control of you. Remember I said, the thief, once you're at that point where you invested all your energy into, he has no control of you anymore once he gets to that level. Only way he can steal from you if you're not taking and using the energy to farm with anymore. You got the extra energy, but instead of farming, right? So if you're not farming, remember, you got 100 acres, and each one of them produce 1,000, and you're not putting 100,000 units of energy in there anymore. You got 100,000 energy, but you're only putting 50,000 in. You only get 50,000 production. That's you're only going to get because you're only putting 50,000 units in. Because he done deceive you to go to the other 50,000 units to go out there and go to the game and go party and everything else. So now you have enough energy to produce $100,000 worth of food every year, but you only produce 50,000 because you got your energy, all kinds of other stuff. Okay. So you don't have enough energy to solve your mental problem because it requires you, right? You see, you start studying. They got the angel, and that's hard work. But once you do it, right? Now you got control of your mind. And he can't have any problem. He can't do anything to you anymore. Because we are in energy deprivation. We're in a state of self-imposed energy deprivation right now. Because really, they have no power over us anymore. The only power they have over us now is deception and making us go after their trinkets and things, this self-imposed energy deprivation on ourselves. So here you go, the second pillar right here. So when you start making salats, right, all of a sudden you don't need those chemicals and stuff anymore. You don't need the drugs, you don't need alcohol. But you got to put time in. You got to spend an hour a day, maybe more if you want to. See, and then he don't have any. He has no control over you. See, first he had confusion over you. He had to control you through your confusion. You don't have that anymore when you got the angel. Now he doesn't have any control over you through fear. Because a lot of you, he got you through fear. A lot of people, he got us through fear. Then the third one, what's that? Sakat. That's the balance. Those who have more give those who have less, because everybody has equal. In capitalism, you can have people have more, but they don't really have more, because everybody have 1,000, and you got one person got 10,000. They got 9,000 units of negative energy. Everybody has the same. Everybody has the same. But see, capitalism tell you that's not true, and money tell you that's not true. That's all the big lies, all the illusion. But anyway, this is the balance, because you got to balance your energy. See, you get so much energy, but you got to balance it. See, it's the difference between having like a shit farm, $1 million shit farm, and $1 million gold mine. Both of them cost $1 million, you know. So you got to balance your energy. Because if you're not balancing, because we can walk through the fire right now, like this, it's no longer energy deprivation. We're in self-imposed. So we're still in the furnace, but you can walk through the furnace and not get burned. Because if your energy is off, then you're going to fall off. You're going to fall off. You're going to be walking a tightrope. See? So this allows you to manage your energy. And if you apply all your energy into yourself, invest in yourself, you don't have a problem. But if you're not doing that, then the ropes get the rope that you're walking on get thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. See? So you lose your balance and fall off. See? Capitalism. That's their answer. Oh. See? Just get more money. That's going to solve all my problems. See? I'm having this problem. I got all my, having all these energy problems, right? So get more money. And that's just causing even more problems. Just like the cross and the drugs, that's causing more problems. It's causing more problems because that throw your balance even off more. Because money is a fake. It's not real. It's an illusion. So now you say, oh, I'm going to get more money. I'm going to get $1 million. And you just create $1 million with negative energy. $1 million of bad luck. See, you think that's your answer. That's not your answer. See? Your answer is bursting all your energy into yourself. Manage all your energy yourself. Manage all the other things we talked about. Managing all your energy by putting it into yourself, you and your spouse. Because your spouse is your other half of you. Both of you invest in each other. Because that's you investing in yourself. All this comes down to investing in yourself 100%. Because right now, right, because then you break their total control of you, because the only control they have over you right now is through self-imposed energy deprivation, because right now they should have no control of us whatsoever, none. But they got you going after the American dream, all the trinkets. So you giving them control over you. You actually giving them control over you. See? But once you stop going after their dollars and all that kind of stuff and use your energy, right, and on yourself, focus 100% on yourself, right, then okay, they have no control over you anymore. And you find out that you didn't need all that stuff you thought you needed. And you find out that all of a sudden you got good luck things working around you, and you ain't doing a lot of stuff that you thought you had to do before, 200 jobs, all that kind of stuff. You ain't doing that anymore. See? Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. That's the balance. See? That's why the Quran says, well, spend out what we have given you. So if you do that, then you have a balance. If you take more than that, that means you create negative energy for yourself. And that means you lose your balance and fall off into the fire and maybe get burned up. And then you got fasting. See? Now fasting, that gets the discipline. Okay. You discipline your body. See? See, all these other things, see, the angel disciplines your mind. It's lots disciplines your heart. disciplines your uses of energy, makes it more efficient. And fast disciplines your body. See? So you don't be sitting around here with hypertension and diabetes and all that kind of stuff. How you can live? Because it takes discipline to fast. 1 meal a day, 1 meal of the day, so forth. But if you don't have discipline, you lose control. And each one of these, if you walked around without these things, you're in hell. Because you're walking around confused. You don't know what's going to happen to you. You're worried about dying, right? And you're worried about all this stuff, right? That's confusion of the first one. You don't have that. You don't even have to ninja. So if you're not still ninja, you have no idea what you think you're going. You're afraid to die. Like I said, do you know what's going to happen to you in this stupid commercial? You know if you go into heaven if you die. How the hell do he know? He in hell already. He's going straight. And if there was a hell, he'd break it wide open. But anyway, so you walk around in hell, confused, scared to die. And then the fear comes and kicks in with a lot, right? There goes now your heart, right? So you walk around, you're in fear, right? You're nervous, you're emotional, and you're going to tell me you in heaven? You've lost control of yourself. And that's what you have no control of yourself. And then you go to the next one, right? So God, right? And all of a sudden, you got all kinds of problems all over the place. You got hurricanes in your life, right? You got tornadoes in your life. All this bad luck hitting you. Man, this storm, that storm, man. Every time I look around, man, like they say, it wasn't for bad luck, I had no luck. All this stuff, all this negative currents in your life, all this negative stuff. So you have no control of yourself, and you can see it. The person walking around, man, they got they're all messed up. Doctors own you. The prison own you. You have no control of yourself whatsoever. And then you get the energy right here. That's discipline your body, right? So now you're not fasting anything, so you have no control of your body. So now you're suffering diabetes and all those other ailments. You see? And what they tell you? What they tell you? Wow, go ahead and eat 3 meals a day. See? Eat some swine and everything else. And now you're eating all that stuff. And what it's doing is making the situation worse. See? So now you're overweight. High blood pressure. Diabetes. See? Amputations. Blindness. All that goes with that. Because it takes energy to fast. It's like it takes energy to study Angel. It takes energy to do slots. It takes energy, right, to manage your energy. So now it takes energy to fast, to discipline, and you don't have the energy because to do it because you're not right using the energy for other things. So you don't have the energy to fast. It takes energy to do that. But if you're out here running after in the NFL and watching these stupid movies and all that kind of stuff you're doing, hanging out, you don't have the energy for that. You just can't step up and do it. You don't have the energy for it. You can't do both. So you don't have the energy to do it. Even if you want to do it, you don't have the energy to do it. It takes energy to do these things. You got to invest in yourself. You got to say, okay, I'm going to stop all this other BS, eating this pork, hanging out, and all this stuff I'm doing. Because right now, this is critical because we're still in the furnace. When you get hereafter, it won't be so critical. You still need to invest in yourself, but not to the extent right now, because right now we're at zero. Or just a little above zero. But hereafter, you have so much, that's a whole different issue altogether. That's a whole different science. We won't talk about this science in hereafter. This science is for now, to get you through this period of unprecedented trouble. So you need to invest in yourself. Fast and you invest in yourself. So now you have discipline yourself. And I suffer from all these. I'm 72 years old, about to be 73, and I'm not suffering any of these things. None of them. I'm not taking any kind of medication, anything. They had me taking some stuff because I had urinary retention or something. And that was because I was doing some stuff at the gym I shouldn't have been doing. Took somebody's advice, right? But I solved that problem. Right? I'm not I'm applying all these things I'm telling you. I'm not suffering any issues. I'm in excellent health. My blood pressure, I think what he told me it was, I remember, 112/70, I think he said. Well, I wrote it down. Well, I don't have it with me. Something like that. Right? Blood pressure, excellent. So you have that energy to do it. You have to invest in yourself. Because if you don't, right, now you're confused. You're nervous and anxieties. You got bipolar, right? You got all kinds of hurricane stuff going in your life. All kinds of, see? And now you suffer from all kinds of health problems. Because you're not applying these things. And don't tell me this ain't happening. Because it is happening. That's why I'm talking about so many blacks got underlying conditions. Or you might see a few on TV that look like they're healthy and everything else, right? That's what they show you. But that's not what the story is. Most blacks are suffering from these things. Because they walk around, they might have a BMW or a $100,000 mortgage or whatever. Or some $500, what's the name, LeBron shoes or something, whatever, BS. You see? But they suffer from all these other issues. Go look at our people. Half of them, I'm not talking about these demons out here. I'm talking about other people that's not demons. Christians, you know, right? Confused. Listen to them. They're totally confused. Right? Nervous, argumentative. You can't talk to them, but they're not rational. You can't be rational with them because most of them vote for the Democratic Party. What's rational about that? See? And all kinds of negative stuff in their life, having strokes and all kinds of stuff, bad health, having all kinds of negative stuff in their house, and this is happening, getting thrown out, and the kids going into jail, and all kinds of stuff happening to them. Don't tell me it ain't happening because you know it is. And this is what giving you a solution here. I'm not suffering any of these things. See? Then the fifth one, harmony. Okay. It takes discipline. Harmony, right, means now you're reaching out to your people. Remember, because we're all one body. So now you're connecting to others. See? And now everybody's in harmony. It takes energy to do that. So now you're out there talking the angel. Right? See? You're talking the 5 fundamental pillars of Islam. And you're dealing with them. And you're not dealing with KV. See? Couldn't gave them, because our people, you know what they're doing. They're out there dealing with KV. They can understand why it's called bad things happen to us dealing with KV. They don't understand he's a personification of evil. But they say, oh man, you racist. Okay. Devil's a devil. So when you hanging with people you ain't got to miss hanging with, which they're going to kill you in a minute. In a minute, they're going to show you they're going to pull their mask off and show you who they really are. See? So you don't be hanging with demons. You start recognizing demons, hang with them. Because if you hang with these people, you're going to have they personification of trouble. So if you hang with them, if you hang with fire, why you get upset when you get burnt? If you're hanging out with fire, playing with fire, why you get upset? If you don't recognize fire, then you're in really trouble, ain't you? After 40 years, you still don't recognize fire? I just told you they personification of our energy deprivation. They fire. If you hang around them, you're going to be burnt. You hang around demons and devils, you're going to be burnt, period. See? So you start dealing with your people and you start talking to people about the other 4 pillars, right? And you start getting people in sync with you. That's harmony. That's not peace. Peace is in the graveyard. See, that's peace. Harmony is when everybody, the Hajj represent. They say Islam is a religion of peace. No, it's a religion of harmony. They got that wrong too, because peace is in the graveyard. Harmony is what you see right there. That's harmony. That's not peace. That's harmony. Everybody's going in the same motion. That's not peace. That's harmony. Everybody's going, there's no conflict, anything. That's harmony. That's the Hajj. See? So what's their answer to that? It takes energy to do that. But they, oh, democracy, everybody do their own thing. Hang around with devils and demons. No, we ain't racist, man. What's wrong with people being with their own people? But no, you want to be with everybody else. Then you understand why all these bad things happen. You get disease and stuff. They're diseased people. They brought disease in the world. I said, wow, man, I'm so sick. Well, you hanging around. They love animals in their house, all kind of stuff. So you hang around that, so now you go, oh, I got this. You know, and don't tell me. They telling you right now. They can't come out and say it. They tell you that animals can get this thing. You know what I'm talking about? Because once you say it, you know they come. Oh man, you can't say that, man. I'm just spam. I'm gonna deplatform you. But they won't really come out and say it in a big way because people love these animals, and they don't want to get these animals. I mean, they'd have a civil war if they try to take all everybody's dogs away. But a lot of people getting it from these dogs. The dog goes out, right? He's sniffing up the dog stuff, right? Say the dog got it from his master, right? Now it's in his feces, and the dog sniffing whatever they do, and then he bring it back home with you. Where do you think the so-called common cold came from? It came from dogs. See? Anyway, that's their answer. See? So if we took and invest in ourselves, we'd have harmony. Our nation will come together. It's going to come together in a minute anyway. That's what I mean. Our nation will come together. The body will come together. And they will have no control over it whatsoever. None. Zero. Because they have no power over us now. Only power they have over us now is the power of deception to make us suffer self-imposed energy deprivation. So I'm telling you, they have no power over us anymore. The power is what you give them. Going after their trinkets. So you have a self-imposed energy deprivation. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. You're going to understand in a minute. It's going to be imposed on you because you're God. He's coming to get you. You're the gold and silver that the Bible's talking about. It's not, they're talking about not metallic gold and silver. You are the gold and silver. You're the one that's making America rich. They got rich off of you. And now they're still getting rich off of you because you giving them, because you investing in them. And you don't expect your dividends after you die. That's a dumb thing, ain't it? They're like saying, okay, I'm going to invest in this stock, right? But I'm going to burn up all the stock. Well, what the hell are you investing in it for? You buy the stock, then you burn it up. That's what you're doing. Because if you think you're going to get a dividend after you're dead, then you're really insane. And then you go back to the first pillar. But that's what got you going, right? And so they run away with the money. See? They ain't telling you to give them the money. Why don't you tell them, when they tell you you're going to get your dividend after you die, why don't you tell them, okay, I'll give you my money after I'm dead. Why don't you tell them that one? And see how that goes over. Okay, brothers and sisters, we're going to leave it there. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters, what this is all about. See, we're at war. They declared war on us 464 years ago. 465 years now. See? And we came through. We survived it. See? Now we had a winning hand, but we won't play it. We have the winning hand, but we won't play it. So our God has to come and play it for us, force us to play it. We have the winning hand now. They have no control over you anymore. Only by deception, by fooling you, tricking you into self-imposed energy deprivation. You have the winning hand now. See? And now with such, right, when he takes out their master engine, master gear, falls to Israel, then they have no driving force anymore. So we just roll them up then. But see, that's at that point in time, you better watch out. Because they're going to stay the momentum. See, when your car fails, in other words, your engine stops, or you run out of gas, and you're going 100 miles an hour, you don't just stop. Your car coasts until it comes to a standstill. That's called momentum. At that time, you know you're not going to be driving. Okay, So you're going someplace, and the old car when you run out of gas, and you got a couple of miles to go, right? And but your car still coasts, so you hope maybe the car coasts far enough, long enough to get you where you're going. See, and you see, man, you look, oh man, slowing down too fast. I ain't gonna make it. See, so you only got a short time left. So you gotta do something. See, because that car's gonna stop in a minute. When it stops, you can't. You SOL. When it stops, that's it. And that's what happens when they go and they take out false Israel. That's a driving force behind this whole vision. This whole world is under that vision. When they take it out, that's the driving force. Then Gog and Magog is beyond momentum. They know they have but a short time left. They're going to be full of wrath and have a short time left. And what they're going to do? They're going to destroy the person that destroyed. They're going to destroy those who destroyed their drive. That's us. Because that drive, false Israel, was destroyed for our sake. And we're still amongst them. So during that momentum, it says, we ain't got but a short time left. We got to get rid of them now. Get rid of them. We ain't got to think about it. They say he's full of wrath because he had but a short, he knows. It didn't say he's full of wrath because he had a short time left. He says he's full of wrath because he knows he has a short time left. He's in momentum and he knows he's about to run out. God's about to stop any time. And once it stops, that's it, he has no more power at all. Zero. Then we can just roll him up. So he's at a short period of time, he's still got power. So let's get rid of them because they're the reason why the engine is not going to have an engine anymore. Ain't going to have no driverless anymore. And once we stop, they can overrun us and take us out. Like a zombie apocalypse, right? So you're trying to get away from the zombies, right? Then you run out of gas. And zombies hot on your ass, right? And you're trying to get to the south, to the sanctuary. And sanctuary is a mile down the road. See? And your car is coasting and says, damn, it's going to make the mile. It's going to get the mile, right? And you say, oh, man, I'm not going to make it. Because if I don't get there, they're going to get me before I get there. See what I'm saying? So I got to do something quick. But they're going to get me. So I'm going to have to stand and fight. Might as well get rid of them because I ain't going to look like I'm going to make it. The sanctuary. But think about it, brothers and sisters, that's what you're up against. I just told you 5 pillars. I showed you how it works about, distraction, about that farm. Try to give it all to you, brothers and sisters, so you understand mathematically. Because Islam is mathematics, and mathematics is Islam, and understand that, have all these lies out there, Silas, Farrakhan, all of them, tell you all that BS they talk about. Tell them to give you the mathematics, explain to you mathematically. Tell them, they say Islam. That's why Muhammad said it. And they said to some extent, Islam is mathematics, Islam. Tell them, explain all that BS they give you, they pull out their ass. Going, honey, tell them, explain to you mathematically. Tell them to give you the mathematics behind it. Tell them to give you the mathematics behind it. I'm giving you the mathematics behind everything I'm saying. If Islam is mathematics, Islam, they should be able to give you the mathematics behind it. They can't. They're full of shit. Tell them to give you the mathematics behind it. That supports it. That's what they're saying. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. We're at war. See? And you're under great deception. They have no control over you now, only by deception. Once you invest in yourself, they're through. Invest in yourself. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things be added to you. Why do you think they said? And then they tell you, what's the kingdom of God? It says within you. That means telling you invest in yourself 100%, and you defeat them. They're dead, because that's the only power left they have is your self-imposed deprivation. You're buying their trinkets, all that kind of stuff. You're giving them your energy, building their dream, and they steadily taking energy to try to come in this mechanical, electronic mechanical world. They're trying to bring it in. And if they get to it before they get to it, right? if they get to it fast enough, if they can get to it for mass from Muhammad, take out their driving force, false Israel, you toast. But he ain't gonna let that happen. But that's what they're trying to do. And they work hard. Because once they achieve it, before you, those stupid movies like Terminator, all of a sudden, boom, they said in a blink of an eye, right? The machine just blew up the world. If they achieve that mechanical, electronic body they're trying to get in a blink of an eye, they blow this whole thing up. They wouldn't waste a second. Because they can live in it and you can't. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.